This minisode is an extract from our conversation with Léyoh Goodall, Vice President of Sales at Social Value Portal. Social Value Portal works with businesses who are dedicated to creating, measuring and reporting on social value. Here we answer an important question: what makes an impact report stand out? One of the main questions we often get asked about at Action Funder is around that impact reporting and how it can be really challenging, particularly, as you said, with smaller businesses approaching social value work. Inputs and outcomes are obviously really critical to your social value calculation. It's what goes in and you have something that comes out of that. But is that all there is to it?
It's not all there is to it, no. But it can sometimes be what we all boil it down to, which is frustrating. What I would say is that it's better to start with fewer indicators, metrics, KPIs that you can really nail and that you believe in and that you've got the data and the evidence for, and that you can report over an amount of time that gives you enough information about the impact that you're making, rather than trying to go for a huge number of metrics, which can be, that's when it becomes really challenging. That's the first point. I do think any claim, statement, position, decision by a business in this space, which affects human lives and real people, should be data-based and supported by evidence. And so if you're going to do it, I would suggest you whittled it down to those decisions and those outcomes where you have got data and you have got evidence. But the second point is, once you've got past that, it's to really think about the story that you're trying to tell. And I think stories are really important in this space because it keeps us engaged and reminds us of what we're doing this for. So thinking about the story that you as a person or an organisation would like to tell, and really importantly, who you want to tell it to. So we work with a huge range of industries. We're cross-sector, broad range of industries, lots of organisations of different shapes and sizes. Some of them are privately owned businesses, some of them are over 10,000 employees, some of them are small suppliers to the local government, let's say. And I'm smiling because I'm thinking of an organ master in Bristol, who's one of the suppliers that we've worked with in the past. And actually, they just want to tell a story about who has benefited, why they made the decision to do what they did, how they did it, and what the real human story is at the end of it. So once you've got the data, I would consider the audience, whether it's an investor, a customer, an occupier, an organisation that you're partnering with. Who's the audience? Yeah. And that then helps you to direct the story.
Yeah, understood. So really bringing kind of the beneficiary in the human lens into the data reporting, rather than it just being about the numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't have the numbers and you just have the story, it's not worthless. But the next time you tell that story, having the numbers makes it more powerful and lets us know whether or not it's a good story, or it could be a better story, or the next story after that could be targeted and focused on a different beneficiary and a different audience. And that's what the data gives you direction.
Is there an example of social value in practice that shows us what good looks like? What does good look like?
Honestly, I think, and I hate to go back to this analogy, but I use it often because it is a very simple way of describing what could be considered a quite complicated process. When we're collecting data to measure impact, and we're using a framework like the TOM system that gives us a language to speak, and that language helps us to tell a story. And that is all we are trying to achieve here, because it helps to focus us, it helps to mobilise us, it helps to inspire and invigorate us. The best examples of social value that I have seen and impact reporting are well understanding of that storytelling concept. And it comes from genuine, true language, which is telling a simple story about a problem being solved. Those are the best examples.
not to kind of belittle it, but quite basic, really, in terms of our storytelling. The beginning, the middle, and the end is what we want to see, and we want to see that obviously being as positive as we can for society.
And also, we'd like to see some pictures in those stories. So very often I see impact reports and they are pretty dry because if there are pictures, there are no people in those pictures often, and there are no people that are not stock images. So, and it might not be that a beneficiary wants to be plastered around on a case study actually, but what it could be for sure is a true and genuine, or simple view or insight or peek into what that benefit really means in real life. That's the difference between kind of a big global clean CSR strategy and social value on the ground, supporting people who need it most now.
You can listen to the full conversation next week on Breaking the Mould. We take a close look at social value, using tech to deliver tangible change, and much more.